Tuning in for some movie reviews. Film flickers and movie reviews. Let's hear those movie reviews. Film flickers and movie reviews. And action.
Brilliant. Hi Flickers. We've just watched The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And as you can tell by John's reaction, he doesn't know how it went so wrong after watching the first one.
The first one was a genuinely good film. What happened? Did they give the writing duties to a primary school? How can you throw away?
What I loved is when it first started, John was going on and he was going, yeah, I don't understand why people are complaining about it. This is good. This is much like the first one. It's a continuation. Yeah, they're kind of going back and building more story. So this is kind of a part. This is a part 2. It's kind of an extension of the first one. I was like, yeah. He was like, what? I was like, just keep watching. He was like, there's nothing wrong with it. And I warned about it in the previous video that we did with The Amazing Spider-Man, and I did warn that there was going to be 5 points that I wouldn't say what they were. It's just when the number was coming up, I would mention that number.
I mean, they were definitely highlight points, but they were certainly a lot more than 5. Your points were some of the worst, admittedly.
I did an A-B to kind of break it up a little bit. So it was like, point 1, this is point A, this is point 1A, and here comes point B, but it's still collectively, because it's all captured within one scene.
It's the thing that fooled me to begin with is the acting is still good. Andrew Garfield's still good, Emma Stone's still good, Jamie Foxx was also good. The problem is it's very much a tale of actors fighting against an incredibly bad script. I don't know who greenlit this. It's
Sony.
Well, Sony, yeah. Whoever executive greenlit it, hopefully they're one of the ones that got the shaft during the email breaks. Because it was appalling compared to how. Alright, the first one, the writing was never going to win any awards, but it was good. It was still a very good superhero film, a very good Spider-Man film. Mm. But this one, the writing was all over the place. It was. I wouldn't even call it professional. It was some very strange decisions were made. Actually, some very strange decisions were made in some of the casting as well, which we'll get into later with one particular favourite bit of casting.
Yeah, we'll come to that bit.
But no, it's...
that wasn't even one of my 5 points either.
Amazingly, no. But it's a genuine shame. This could have been good if they'd have continued with the same writing style as they did in the first one. This could have been a genuinely good movie. Like I say, the acting is fine. I mean, I kind of hope this hasn't tarnished the actors in any way, because they were good. I mean, they acted good, but they were fighting against the script.
Well, yeah, because Sally Fields has obviously done alright, because she went on to Lincoln, and that was just phenomenal. Just the way that the story arc went for the character, and I felt that was kind of a real letdown, to be honest. I think maybe it suffered from the same thing as Spider-Man 3. Too many characters were kind of crammed in. Too many things were trying to be crammed in, because if you'd had just the one villain to kind of concentrate on, it would have been fine. Because that's what worked so well in the first one. It was just one. There was only one bad guy that you had to look out for.
I don't think that's entirely
bad.
I think that's entirely. I think they just made the villains too ridiculous. Electro. You see, Electro's always been quite a bad villain anyway. He's not been particularly great. He's always been a bit pantomime-y. They kind of fix a lot of that in this one, which is the worst thing. They did fix a lot of his pantomime aperture, but then they just went over the top and they kind of made him. Well, they made him Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen.
I did say that was one of my one points. I just turned around and I said, he's just materialised and he's wearing shorts.
I mean, this is the thing, and we normally stay
That's
away.
why I said there was a point A. That's point A. Wait for point B to come up.
We normally stay really far away from spoilers when we do this, but with this one we're going to
You
talk
can't.
about. Okay, Electro has suddenly gained this ability to be able to dematerialise and materialise again as a stream of electricity. But apparently he can also create matter, because he'll rematerialise not only in different clothes, but in the things that he originally had on. Like they put these sensors into his head, and he rematerialises with them.
This is Duracell power.
Duracell bunny
power check.
Bunny power check.
Just making sure that it's got enough power.
So Electro dematerialises from this one plate. Rematerialises not only these sensors in this place, but also a pair of shorts on. So
And the thing in his leg.
And the thing in his leg as well, yeah. So either all those items are also capable of dematerialising and rematerialising, or he's creating matter on the fly. And it's even worse later on, where he apparently dematerialises in a full set of body armour and rematerialises again.
That was brilliant.
That
was part B. That was part B of point 1.
And you couldn't take it seriously because of that. They should have just not had the dematerialising thing at all. I think that would have been the better way of doing it.
Jamie Foxx was still amazing. He still took it extremely seriously. He still devoted himself to the character.
He was bravely fighting like the other two with a script.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was so far out to sea that it was looking at the curvature of the earth.
It was. He was so good. There were a lot of really good, top-notch actors in this as well, and it was kind of one of the things. Actually, point A kind of leads on to your thing about the characters that he had a problem with, because it was before point A. That's what he couldn't understand. Is he thought I was going to mention that as a point A, and it really wasn't. That's not as bad as it got.
What Stuart is leading up to is the Doctor that is experimenting on Electro when he's captured by Oscorp.
Mm.
It's the most. It's almost like they have taken a character from the '60s Batman TV show and put them into the film. He was so pantomime. I was expecting him to say to get the. Is he behind me, children? Because that's what it was like. But it's the accent, and this is the thing that you want to go on to. I know. Because I turned to Stuart and I said, "That is the worst German accent I have ever heard."
And I had to correct him and say, he is German.
He's a German that apparently can't do a German accent.
It is that bad.
It was like something out of Hello, Hello. But I mean, that wasn't the height of his bad acting. I mean, literally, his acting was terrible. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't like to bag on actors, but he was awful. And
it was a.
I mean, it didn't help the script was bad as well. I mean,
it was a poor casting choice. I guess now you can understand the backlash that Sony had with the whole bring Spidey back to Marvel Studios effectively, and you can now, I think, appreciate all the hate that it got.
This is, I mean, for the first one, I said I couldn't understand why people hated Sony so much. They did a couple of good films, they've done a couple of bad films as well, but for the most part they were doing okay. This film has completely changed my mind. This one film alone has completely changed my mind, and it shows that Sony shouldn't have the rights anymore. It's how they can go from. I mean, they did the same thing with Tobey Maguire as well. The first two were great films.
Yeah.
The third one was just appallingly awful. But even that doesn't even come close to this one. This is the worst Spider-Man film I have ever watched. And bearing in mind, I saw the dodgy ones back in the
80s.
Early 80s.
Oh.
They were more enjoyable. They were less pantomime.
With the funny sort of nip in the back of his pants as he's crawling down a wall. That one, yeah?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Oh.
If you guys haven't seen that, you need to check it out, because it is a marvel to behold.
Now, we know, I mean, with the licenses that both Fox and Sony have got, they're obligated to make a certain number of films over a certain period of time, otherwise they lose the license. And so it would be easy to say, well, they've just knocked out a film to keep the license. But the fact is, everything else about this film is really good. The acting was good. Most of the casting choice, with one notable exception, was good. The effects were all top notch. They were definitely well done, expensive effects.
Yeah, and you said, because you were saying about how, when you were saying about that Electro was quite a pantomime thing, you said that actually you appreciated the way that they did Electro.
No, I thought it was brilliant. In the original comic books, Electro is just basically a genius, and he builds a harness that gives him the electric power. In this one, it actually becomes... It follows on with the idea that there's all these people getting superpowers from experiments that Oscorp have made. And it's good, I kind of like that. Everything's tied together, all tied together with Spider-Man, so they've all got the little universe. And they did the same with Electro. And I thought that bit was good. I actually thought they did Electro quite well. The problem is, so many elements in there that made it just silly. If they hadn't have done these things, then it would have been a good villain to carry on.
It's number 3, wasn't it? It's point number 3 you loved the most, wasn't it?
Oh, no, you know what? Forget spoilers for this film because it's not
Itsy
worth
Bitsy
not
Spider.
He's in an electrical substation. There's all these big capacitor towers, and they suddenly start lighting up to the tune of Itsy Bitsy Spider.
That was point number 3.
It wasn't.
Point number 2 is not even worth talking about, really, but it is just one of those sort of things you're just like, what? With this one, it was, the start of it was very good because it was almost trying to make its own element, and that was great. But yeah, that last half hour was a real bad decision. Harry Osborn and the new Green Goblin, which was a mistake that number 3 made, so why would you then repeat the same mistake thinking you could do it better? That was really silly. Very, very silly. Why did you do that?
I'm still hopeful that Green Goblin and Hobgoblin could be done properly.
Hobgoblin. Why have they not done that?
Because they keep failing at the second hurdle. So
because that would have been great for number 3. That would have been awesome send off for number 3 because that would have been Harry as well. That could have been Harry Osborn as the Hobgoblin, and it would have been, he would not have known who it was, and we wouldn't have to know who it was either until a final reveal sort of thing. But I mean, the origin of the Hobgoblin is different, but it would have been nice to kind of twist that up a bit.
Yeah, they can. There's no reason why they can't twist that part out.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Right. So then, to kind of cap it all off, point number 5 came up. What was the one thing that, of course, everyone kind of gets from most of these films now, that I don't know why they do it, but they really spoil a lot of the film in their trailers, which is very, very silly to do, because actually we want the little tastes and all stuff. Like J.J. Abrams does really well with his teasers and stuff, because he really does kind of lead you to false sort of thoughts. Like you get excited about it and you're interested in the story, but he doesn't give anything away. Like it is a tight run ship to be able to get no spoilers on board and stuff like that.
Yeah, Force Awakens did that really well. They had people talking about the film rather than already knowing about it. That was.
It's a bit unfair because it's Star Wars, and that was just everyone loves Star Wars. And if you don't, I don't care. But with spoiler 5, it's not really a spoiler at all, but it's 0.5, and it was the worst thing that happened in the film, which effectively ruined it. It was supposed to be the crescendo and kind of like the thing that led you on to then care about what the next film was coming out, and it didn't. It completely dropped you in every single aspect of it, calling up things like okay, it's a character that is well known in the Spider-Man universe, and there isn't too much depth to him or anything, but it's the fact that he's on a par with strength for Spider-Man, so he's very, very hard for him to defeat. And it's Rhino. Now, Rhino's not the most intelligent person in the comics or in the film, but it's the suit that kind of makes it even kind of better in the comics, is the fact that it's this completely indestructible skin that he wears. And there is no way to defeat him at all in it. Well, I mean, there is later on and stuff, but to start off with, there seems to be no way to just defeat this guy. He just seems completely unstoppable, but because he's so stupid, he can go into traps quite easily, because he just doesn't think about what he's doing, he just uses physical force. And he's a big dude as well, big Russian mobster, gun for hire. And that's not really represented very well in Amazing Spider-Man 2 at all. And he's given this... Because you spotted it earlier and you went, is that supposed to be the Rhino suit? And I just went, just wait. And And then I said 0.5. And then
Let's just
the
roll-
rhino turned up and he
We
went,
can.
no, 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 no. And I was like,
We can, we can describe all this in just one simple phrase. It looked like a transformer, a Michael Bay transformer. That's it. I mean, that's everything. And that's
yeah.
It
In
was,
fact, the last action sequence was like a Michael Bay transformer epic. No, I don't want to use that word for that.
epic is
That's not the right
epic
word.
is a
for it.
positive word, and neither Michael Bay nor this video deserves
Epic fail. Epic fail. There we go. That's what it was. It was a Transformers epic fail.
It was terrible. I mean, it's the costume didn't fit.
It was
Didn't fit the
CGI.
role. The costume didn't fit
Yes.
the history
Yeah.
of the character. It didn't enhance the character. I mean, I'm all for, like we said about Electro, where they
Yeah.
changed his character around, and that I think it did for the most part enhance the character.
Mm.
This did not. This didn't enhance the character. It didn't make. It made it look silly. It made it look relatively pointless. I mean, if you're going to be a criminal.
And easy to defeat. I mean, really, come on, it's just a mechanised thing. In fact, you could have, if Electro had survived into that last part, you could have easily just put the two together and you just would have fried him in his suit. I mean, it would have been done, that's it. Forget about, pouring water over an electric person and stuff. This is just put the electric person on the mechanised robot. You're done. Just done.
It was just appalling. But I mean, leading up to this as well was even more. I mean, they were pushing a Sinister Six film because a guy walks down in the basement of Oscorp and he's got all of these different suits for the different classic Spider-Man villains, including
And your favourite.
Oh, my favourite, Vulture. I mean, the Vulture. It's a terrible villain. Don't resurrect the Vulture. I mean,
Do, because I just want to see his face when it happens. It will be amazing.
Oh God, no, not the Vulture.
I'll even take you to the cinema when it gets released.
They also had Otto.
My treat.
They also had Otto Octavius's the octopus is
Doctor Octopus.
Doctor Octopus. You'll go with that.
Yeah.
His claw suit, and that made no sense at all because that's nothing to do with Oscorp.
No, it was. I mean, it was designed by him for him because which was covered so well in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah.
It was brilliantly done, and you got it. You understand why. And the only reason why it's called Doctor Octopus is because it was Octavius, and it's just like, okay, you got it. 8, yeah. 8 arms. Great. Technically, he only had 3. He only had 6 arms.
6 arms and 2
Technically.
legs. Yeah.
2 legs.
I don't mind Doctor. But I mean, it was such a. These things. I mean, Marvel does this kind of stuff quite well. If they're Marvel Studios does this thing quite well. If they're doing a reveal. This was done really poorly. I mean, this was almost like somebody put a crowbar into the film and said, "Look at this! Look at this!" And I'm hoping there's not going to be a Sinister Six film.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that we haven't mentioned in this film, and it's because it is for me the singularly most pointless and ridiculous element of this film. Ghost Dad. Gwen Stacy's father, who died in the first film, spoiler, turns up in this film as a ghost. Whenever little Gwen might be in danger, he turns up and gives a sorrowful look at Peter. Why? Come on. It was pointless. Ghost Dad.
Yeah, you loved that, didn't you? Every time you kind of like, what? And I was just like, Ghost Dad, huh? Yeah.
Ghost Dad. What the hell?
It was amazing. I have to say, I have completely borrowed that from another lovely film reviewers and stuff, but it was just. I think everyone was kind of feeling it when you first saw the film. I mean, like if you went to the theatre, like some sad schmucks did, me, went to go and enjoy this film because you thought that the first one was so good. How could it possibly go so wrong? You sit in the theatre, you've paid your money, and then it comes up, and then you're just like, why is this in there? That doesn't need to be there at all. Is this going to get worse? This is going to get worse, isn't it? And it did.
This is the worst part. This is the worst thing about this film. If I'd have seen the first Amazing Spider-Man, I would definitely have gone to see this one because I would have assumed it was going to be another good film. And that's the worst thing. It's not, because it's so appallingly bad. And I mean, I am being fair in this film by not completely saying my feelings on this film.
Well, no, because you were saying you were led into it, and you felt reassured at the start because it felt like it was the same quality as the first one, but it was just when certain things popped up, and it was just getting. I love the fact that I hadn't mentioned any of the numbers yet, and you were kind of like, "Is this one of them?" And I was like, "No." Wait.
I will say, wholly and completely, and I know we've kind of touched on this as we've gone through this review. This entire film was completely let down by the writing. The writing is terrible. I feel sorry for everyone else involved.
For the third act, the writing completely let down everything.
Third act, I mean, it was all the way through, wasn't it?
Halfway through?
Halfway through. I would say, well,
halfway through.
Yeah, we'll say halfway through.
It's a nice balance.
But it's it let down. I mean, everyone else in this film, I imagine, would feel let down by the writing because it wasn't good writing. This is not AAA movie quality writing. This is film student not even last year exam, mid-year exam level writing.
Yeah, this is start out to a script. It's not really the one that I would have expected to come after the first one at all. So yeah, we understand the anger. I mean, we understand the anger that everyone had for the franchise and why it should be returned back to Marvel Studios and everything. Although the deal, it works out and it's going to be beneficial for both studios, and I do believe that it will eventually revert completely back to Marvel Studios, which would be nice. But for now, I think it's a good compromise that we've got with Sony. And, you know, that it is going to have the real high qualities that we're going to get with Civil War. So the first impressions we're going to get of Spiderman because he's going to be in that. And then we'll be able to have some of the quality transferred over into the first Spider-Man film, which would be great to be able to see that. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm fingers crossed that they bring back the quality of writing that they did with the first Andrew Garfield one, because I thought that was extremely good for where they were, you know, redoing the franchise.
No, definitely. I think I'd be equally comfortable if they brought back the writing for the early Tobey Maguire films. Either way, that both, I think the first two Tobey Maguire films and the first of the Amazing Spider-Man Andrew Garfield films, the writing was pretty tight, and it followed the comic books as well as they'd be able to.
As close as you could.
As close as they could. If they can do that, if they can reproduce that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe directed version of it, then I think it'll be just as good and a worthy one. Hopefully, it'll be a good springboard for getting decent Spider-Man films out there. Because Spider-Man is he's a very poorly abused character, but I think he deserves a lot more.
He's been abused in the past, but hopefully that won't happen anymore. Fingers crossed.
Well, thanks for watching our video, and don't watch this one. Watch the first one. The first one is a really good film. Don't watch this one.
Thank you to our subscriber Zachary for recommending this one. We still love you. I knew what we were getting into, but it was quite fun to be able to watch John's first reaction to this, especially that he hadn't seen the first one as well. And actually, we want to thank you for that, because if we didn't have your suggestion, we wouldn't have watched the first one, which we love so much.
Yeah, no, great.
So it was great that you did do that. So thank you very much for that. But it was just more than anything, it was great just to watch John just react to it. We should really do reaction videos and stuff. I'm sure in the future we will do those. You'll see like reaction videos to some of the things that we haven't seen before. Maybe we'll start relatively low with trailers and stuff like that, and we'll build our way up to maybe doing a sort of sitting in the theatre with our reactions and stuff. We'll call it an art installation. I'm not naming him, but you know who I'm talking about. So thank you again for doing that, and please keep all your suggestions coming. We have got 2 or 3 that we've still yet to come. We are going to wait a little bit longer to do those because there are release dates that are obviously coming up, so we want to get that a little bit closer. That would be quite nice. But keep them coming in because we are loving the suggestions, and it really does mean that we get to watch some great films as well. Ones we've never even heard of before, which is great. So thank you very much.
Bye, Flickers. Thanks for watching the video, and if you did like it, then please hit the like button. And if you want to see more from us, then please hit subscribe.
And don't forget to leave a comment below. And if you've got any suggestions for films that we should be reviewing in the future, please leave us a nice little message. Oh, and check out our previous videos.